Hey folks, welcome to the next edition of Serverless Craic. Here we are, we're good to go. How are you getting on anyway?
Good. Good. Another good week.
Grand.
All good. All good. Good.
Playing it. Um,
Rocking it.
it's it's reinvent season. Black Friday sales have started, so thought maybe spend some time talking about AWS reInvent, the annual conference that AWS run in Las Vegas, where they announced loads of stuff, and there's far too many people at it. Um, we thought we'd have some fun, maybe try and predict what they might announce this year.
Yeah. You're going this year, Dave?
I'm going, yes, it's going to be mad, but as usual, should be good fun. As usual, I've
Yes.
talked to about 1 million people.
Very good.
I'm doing a
Very good.
talk as well, doing a GP talk, so that should be interesting. The first one.
Yeah. It should be good. Should be good.
We're already in the pre-invent season as well. We're starting to see some of the announcements coming through over the last number of days, which has been great. Lots of
Mm.
serverless updates, lots of um, observability sort of updates, logging updates, which has been great. And even today, on Friday, the 17th, we've seen the testing framework beta announced as well for serverless testing, which is great to see.
Mm.
Exciting
I
stuff.
think observability is a big one. I mean, we've started to notice with distributed systems, observability is, well, it was always king, but it's now king.
Yeah.
Um, So I can see loads of stuff coming in about tying together observability and maybe being less dependent on certain tools.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that you can see AWS enabling or facilitating.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be good to see. It'd be good. Be good to see where AWS are going observability wise. There's a lot of work going on at the minute in the open telemetry side of things. Within the community, and
Mm,
it'd be good to kind of see, particularly for serverless. For teams who are adopting serverless architecture, serverless workloads, things like trace propagation and stuff can be an issue and a challenge. And I'm wondering if we'll see anything on their roadmap that gives us clues to how they're thinking with
mm.
regards hotel and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll be definitely keeping an eye for that. That'll be really good.
It's an interesting space, but it's still very complicated. I mean, even when you talk
Yeah,
about observability and then you break it down to distributed tracing, logging, and alerting and metrics, people are like, ah. So
yes,
it definitely one that needs a bit more kind of, I wouldn't say simplification, but make it more consumable for
sure.
everyone.
Yeah,
Um, suppose then, I mean, let's just talk about it. There will be Gen AI. There'll be Gen AI everywhere. I think I'm going to get a T-shirt that says "I don't want to talk about AI." To kind of, it's going to be nuts. It'll be everywhere. Um, they did have PartyRocks that came out there.
Yes.
Was it
Yeah.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Which you don't even need an AWS account. You can just rock in as anyone and do a quick kind of app. Basically, dress up as an app and pump like a prompt in the an LLM model. That'll be interesting stuff. I've seen a few flying out already. Either people were very fast, or they had a preview.
Yeah. I think removing those barriers to entry and demystifying some of that stuff is all good. I think there's super powerful capabilities there. So I think PartyRocks is
Yeah.
a great way of experimenting with stuff without necessarily setting up for an AWS account and spending loads of money and being worried about L&M costs. So I think it's great to see.
Yeah. And let's give Mark Craddock a shout out. Like his Wordly map back in February, where he mapped out Gen AI and and he basically it's not about LLMs, it's about prompt engineering. I've used
Mhm.
that in a few talks. He's bang on. Like so PartyRocks is basically making prompt engineering a bit easier or writing an app around it.
Yeah. So
Mm.
it'd be interesting seeing like some of the developer advocates experimenting with drawing out sort of architecture diagrams and then generating code and sort of stitching that together. So it'd be interesting to see if there's it formally from AWS around that coming out. Just closing that developer sort of loop really from idea to sort of production ready code, and it'd be interesting to see if there's any announcements around sort of that sort of developer productivity and maybe
Yep.
leveraging some of the Gen AI capabilities to speed up that cycle, that feedback loop.
Yeah. What is the code? Is a code is what? Code is a liability.
Absolutely.
Um, like in the EDA space, I don't see the EDA or event driven area quieting down. I can predict a lot of more things happening around, event bridge, step functions, additional features.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
this week we've seen EventBridge with additional sort of metrics being available to it now, and I'm sure there'll be lots. EventBridge being one of the sort of key EDA capabilities within AWS. I'm sure there'll be some announcements or some capability improvements around EventBridge.
Yeah, I think the thing I'd be keeping an eye for would be, like talks around decentralized, event-driven architectures and how orgs have been sort of thinking about those. I think there's definitely lots of opportunity for advances there. And I did see that announcement, funny enough, was it in the last few days? Could have been the last few days. It could have been last month. But step functions, being able to kind of, drive from an error state, which is a big one, because obviously with things like resiliency, baked into their EDA is a big topic. And so that's a neat sort of advance there in that service.
Also looking forward to something we've been sort of talking about a bit, and we'll probably talk about next week at the serverless days, is around better guardrails or faster feedback loops for good practices. So well architected, trusted advisor, security hub, resiliency hub, compute optimizer, all those sort of things are becoming much more easily consumed and much more timely. And so we'll be interested to see if any good announcements around more on that. There's faster feedback loops, there's putting developers on the right path and guiding them along that journey, because it's definitely come a long way in the last year or two. Continues.
There's a big trend around the heuristics, resiliency hub, security hub. That whole idea of non-functional hubs. You know what I mean? Is there even going to be can you see there being a Gen AI well-architected hub where you can kind of maybe have better monitoring and stuff? Definitely see going that direction. Make it easier for admins to make sure things are working well.
Definitely democratizing a lot of the expertise we would spend time reading white papers and doing stuff. It's definitely a lot more approachable and available now. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah. My job was replaced by a hub, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah. Only, and then I suppose in the same vein, developer enablement and tooling is massive.
Yep.
It's always been the criticism that the developer experience is tough. So I think I could see AWS invest in that a few years ago and continue to. So I don't see that slowing up any.
Yeah, I think the enhancements of serverless land, enhancements to testing practices, and enhancements to guidance around testing serverless sort of EDA architectures would be good to see as well. And I think the serverless testing kit came out today, I think, the beta. So seeing more around that will be good. I think it's one of the things developers struggle with, and even though there's good guidance about local testing versus testing in the cloud, and the change in the testing pyramid, it'd be good to see more tooling, more guidance, more advice, more capabilities to make testing easier.
So here's a prediction fee. I could see. Remember a few years ago we came out with the DevOps guru and all that stuff. Like a little sort of like enablement things. I wonder will we see a couple of little enablement kind of tools to help maybe suggest things, maybe productivity hacks.
Yep.
I wonder will there be productivity hacks aimed at the developer that might come out? Not quite like DevOps guru or code guru, but maybe something a bit more kind of LLM-ish.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm even thinking in the topics we just talked about there, with like observability or generative AI. Those things are, they're kind of grounded in engineering, sort of ways of working and principles. And I feel like it'd be good to kind of get, I think teams are starting to ask for more of that, aren't they? Like, how do you have good traceability through a distributed workload? What are the things that we should be looking at from a non-functional perspective when we're dealing with AI-based capabilities? Those sorts of things, the things that you'd want to kind of stand up at scale or in a production-based scenario. It'd be good. Yeah, I'd be looking forward. We're keeping it out. Those are the talks I always kind of go for. How teams and orgs and companies have solved those things.
I wonder will they do something like there is obviously a mountain of knowledge on the AWS site with the white papers and the blogs and everything and the labs. I wonder will they pump that into a model and maybe facilitate asking questions. You might just go somewhere and say, tell me how to do this, and maybe answers your question and gives you a couple of references.
Yeah, there was a few sort of capabilities that people have pulled together just done themselves. I wonder if there'd be a formal AWS offering around that. That might be
I guess you could
interesting.
call it Cloud Guru, but that's taken. Very good. Anything else wacky? What do you think?
Seen the announcement of the Hyundai partnership and Amazon.com selling cars and disrupting sort of some of that. And just those verticals, that's an interesting move. I think they're going to partner up on their infrastructure stack as well. So that was a bit of a left field one. So it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Delivering it to your house with one of their drones, their delivery drones,
Who knows?
dropping a car on your front lawn. That'd be good.
I'm sure there'll be a plethora of service announcements and exciting things that we haven't even thought of. But good to see.
The Echo Move, Echo Car, Echo Move.
Echo Move.
Take me home.
I know.
Very good. Lots of crack. Good stuff. It's always an exciting event, and it's good to follow the announcements. And I think we're planning a post event a few weeks after. We'll be just trying to make sense of all the announcements, which is a job within itself. So that should be fun to try and go through and do almost like a review of all the announcements and see what companies have now been disrupted. So give us a follow on the Serverless Edge and on Serverless Craic podcast and on the blog post about the serverlessedge.com. Thanks very much.
Thank you, bro.
Bye, guys.